You made a brilliant start to Power Maths with Miss Rachel last week. It's my turn this week to talk about Power Maths and to take you through this week. We are looking at problem solving, and you've already had a little start of that last Friday, but let's jump in and have a look at lesson 2. Let's get started on today's Flashback 4 then. So pause the video, have a go at these, and then click play again when you want to go through the answers. Question 1. What turn has the owl made? Now, this could either be anti-clockwise or clockwise, and the answer is, of course, a half. It's gone half the way round from a full turn. Describe the movement using forwards or backwards. The chick has moved 2 squares forwards, of course. 2 squares in the forwards direction. What is 1/3 of 9? Well, the answer to that is 3. You could think about 3 times 3 equals 9, or you could have thought about it as 9 divided by 3 equals 3. And question 4, what is 10 more than 24? Nice straightforward one there, 34. You can count up in tens. Starting at 24, your next number would be 34. Let's jump into Power Maths for today then. Here is your Discover for today. So we're thinking about using number facts. And your question today, you can see that you've got, the teacher has written on the board some calculations. And we've got Aaron, who's sat down here. He's having a look at these calculations. And question 1 says this: to help him solve 15 plus 8 equals something, Aaron started by doing 5 add 8 equals 13. Explain his strategy. So notice that there's a missing box here, but actually the question is asking us to explain Aaron's strategy. We've then got the second part: use the same strategy to solve these. Things I want you to think about. When you're thinking about the strategy, what did Aaron do? Imagine you're Aaron and ask to yourself, what do I already know? How can what I already know help me answer another calculation? And think about what's the same and what's different about these calculations. So have a go at those Discover questions then. Let's share some ideas about this Discover then. So before we do that, our WALT today, what we are learning today, is to make links between different calculations. It's to not treat every calculation separately and like we have to start again, but to think about how can what I already know help me to answer this calculation. And to do that, we are going to be identifying what's the same and what's different about 2 calculations, and using what we already know to find an efficient way to solve a problem. Efficient means quick and easy, the best way to solve a problem without making it more long and complicated than it needs to be. Over here we've got Ash, and Ash says, I wonder how 15 add 8 is related to 5 add 8. And Dexter says, I will use the sum of 5 add 8 to find 15 add 8 without calculating from the beginning again. You'll remember, looking back to our Discover, that to help him solve 15 add 8, Aaron had started by doing 5 add 8. Let's go back then and talk about that. Here we've got 5 add 8, and we know 5 add 8 equals 13, and we've got it represented for us. 5 small blocks add 8 blocks makes a 10, and 3 blocks, so that's 13. Now if we think about 15 add 8, all we're changing is adding one more 10 in there. 15 is 10 more than 5. So instead of 5 add 8, we've added 10 more, and now we're doing 15 add 8 and getting our answer. Now read this carefully. 15 add 8 must be 10 more than 5 add 8, because we know that 15 is 10 more than 5. So our answer must also be 10 more. 15 add 8 then isn't 13, it's 23. 10 more than 13. And as always, Aaron added the 1s first and then added the 10. Now that's quite a lot of words, but you can see it there, can't you? This is 5 add 8, and this is 15 add 8. And all that's changed is we've added 10 more here, and so our answer is 10 more as well. Let's have a look at the second part then. If we go back to our Discover, we can use the same strategy to solve these questions. 25 add 8, 35 add 8, and 8 add 45, or 45 add 8. So here we are, we've got 25 add 8. Notice we've just added another 10, haven't we? Because 25 is 10 more than 15. And hang on, if we keep following the pattern, then we've got 35 add 8 and 45 add 8. So each time, all we're adding is 10 more. On the other side of the equals sign, the number is also getting bigger by 10. So if 15 add 8 is 23, then 25 add 8 is 33. 35 add 8 is 43, and 45 add 8 is 53. Remember, it doesn't matter which way round the numbers are being added together in an addition. So 8 add 45 is the same as 45 add 8. So the key thing we're thinking about today is using those things that we already know, those calculations we've already worked out, thinking, well, what's different about this calculation? And then seeing whether that can help us work it out quickly. Let's think together then. Now, it'll be helpful for you to have a piece of paper in front of you to work this out, because we're going to go through it step by step. Things we're thinking about. What's changing? What's the same? And is there a pattern that I can continue? So here we go. We've got 59 add 6 equals 65. So notice we've been told some information already. We've got a calculation that is worked out for us. We're being asked to use this calculation to work out 79 add 6. Notice the language there. Use what we already know, the calculation we already know, to work out the new calculation. So let's look at it step by step. 79 add 6. The calculation we've already got is 59 add 6. What's the same? That's right, the 6 is the same. What's different? What's changing? Yeah, the 59 has changed to a 79. Let's think about that change. 79 is how many more than 59? That's right, it's 20 more. 79 is 20 more than 59. If we know that 79 is 20 more than 59, and everything else in the addition has stayed the same, that 6 is the same, then we know our answer must be 20 more as well. So rather than working out the whole calculation again, we just need to do 20 more than our answer, which is 65. So 20 more than 65, well, let's count up in 10, 65, 75, 85. 79 add 6 equals 85. So we used what we already knew, and that gave us a quick way to get to the answer. Time for you to have a go as we work through this together. I'll tell you when you need to pause the video. 29 add 6. Remember, we're using the calculation we've already got, this one up here, to help us. So 29 is how many less than 59? The 6 in the calculation has stayed the same. So have a go at that. Pause the video, see if you can work that one out. 29 is how many less than 59? Have you had a go? Hopefully you got 30. 29 is 30 less than 59. And that leads us then to our answer. Because if in our addition we've got 30 less, then our answer must also be 30 less. So we count backwards from 65, we're doing it in tens, until we've taken away 30. So 65, then count backwards, 55, 45, 35. So our answer is 35. Over to you then to have a go at this one. Pause the video here, have a go at this one, and then click play and check that you've done each step correctly. Hopefully you've had a go then. Let's have a look at the answers to that one. So we started off with 24 add 37, and that changed to 24 add 67. And the thing that was different was the 67, wasn't it? 67 is 30 more than 37. That was what we had in our first calculation. So we know our answer must be 30 more as well. So our new calculation, 24 add 67, is 30 more than 61, and that's 91. If you're not quite sure about that, or you didn't get it, have a try again. Take the video back, have a watch through the Think Together questions again, and have another go. Time for the challenge then. So again, same things to consider. Notice it's the same questions all the way through. What's changing? What's the same? We've got 28 add 36, and we've been asked this time to work out the answer to that question. So that's our first step. But then we've got, how could you use it to help these children work out their answers? So this child here is working out 76 add 28, and this child here is working out 38 add 26. Over here we've got Ash saying, I wonder how much greater or smaller each answer is. And Flo saying, I think 2 of the questions might have the same answer. Couple of clues there. Take what you already know and then have a go at this challenge. Click pause and then click play when you want to go through it with me. Let's talk about this challenge then. So first step, we need to find the answer to this calculation. You could have done this with a column addition. So look up at this top bit for now. We're doing 36 add 28. And we do the ones first, don't we? 6 add 8 equals 14. We put that new 10 that we've made down here in the tens column. And the 4 ones that we've made go in the ones column. Then we need to add up all the tens. 3 tens and 2 tens and 1 more makes 6 tens. So we've got 64 all together. Now we're ready to think about how we can use that knowledge to help the children with their answers. So this child is working out 76 add 28. Well, this is exactly like we did before. We need to look at what's the same. The 28 is the same. Compare the things that are different. Well, 76 is 40 more than 36. So our answer is going to be 40 more, and that's 104. 40 more than 64 is 104. Let's have a look at this second part then. I need to work out 38 add 26. Well, on first look, that looks like a completely different calculation. But have a look down here, and I'll show you that actually the same thing is happening in both of those calculations. This first one is 36 add 28. That's that calculation up there and here that we worked out. And we get 64. 6 tens, 4 ones. Have a look at what this child is working out. 38 add 26. You'll notice that actually all that's happened is it's as if we've swapped these tens over. We've put these 2 tens and we've moved them over here, and these 3 tens and we've moved them over here. Now we've got 26 instead of 36 and 38 instead of 28. But notice that when we add them all together at the end, we get exactly the same answer. That was a tricky one to spot, but just shows that when you draw something out, actually you can see what's happening with the numbers. Well done for all your work up till now. It's practice book time. So open up your practice book to lesson 2 of the second unit. That's on page 23 today. And click pause, have a go at that. And when you're ready for some extension questions, click play again and we can have a go at some extension questions. So hopefully you've had a great time working through today's lesson and are ready for a couple of extension questions. The question today, true or false? 36 add something equals 100. The missing number is 74. True or false? And have a look at that square with 100 squares in it to help you. True or false? Pause and think about your answer. Ready with your answer? It is in fact false. The missing number is 64. And you can see it represented really nicely here. Each of these columns is 10. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 4 left to fill the rest of the 100 square. And if you added those together using a written method, you would know that the 4 and the 6 add together to make 10, and then we've got 3 10s, 6 10s, and that 1 10 we've just made add up together to make 10 10s, which is 100. Second question, you've got some calculations here. Looks like a whole lot of calculations, but do you need to work out each calculation separately? Is there a pattern that could help you? Click pause, have a look for that pattern, and see if you can work out the efficient way of working out all of those calculations. What did you notice then? Did you spot the pattern? The answer is 31 for all of them. What's happening in each calculation is that the numbers are changing just by 1. So in the first one we had 23 add 8 equals 31. We have got 7 instead of 8, so that's 1 less. But instead of 23 we've got 24, which is 1 more. So actually, overall, nothing has changed. It's the same amount altogether. And that pattern carries on. The number in the 20s gets 1 more each time, and the number that's just 1s gets 1 less each time. So overall, we have 31 when we add them together. Hopefully you spotted that pattern. Done a brilliant job today on all of that maths. We'll finish there. I hope you enjoyed that lesson today. I'll see you back again for lesson 3 another time. See you soon.